A good rifle is as accurate as its long-range rifle scope allows, since these allow both the target and the reticle to be seen in a single plane, which will enable you to have no problem aligning the mark with the dash and rear sight. If you are wondering how to choose a long-range rifle scope, you must know all the details you need to be able to choose the one with the best possible characteristics and cover the minimum needs you have. Today, there is a wide variety of different models and brands of rifle scopes, so it is essential to know what the scope will be used for, and from there, you can set the parameters for selecting the right long-range rifle scope. Before we continue, make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you find this video to be helpful and enjoyable. What will the long-range rifle scope be used for? The basics. A scope for hunting is not the same as one for shooting during the day or for precision. Defining how the scope will be used will help determine the basic requirements that you must meet. Among the basic needs, the following are the most important. Resistance. Especially in the face of recoil, as some cheaper models may not withstand the recoil caused by large caliber rifles. Brightness. If the scope is to be used in low-light conditions, the long-range rifle scope must be as bright as possible, whereas if it is to be used during the day, this factor is not as important. Glass and treatment. The lenses of the long-range rifle scope must be of the best possible quality since this will be decisive in the sharpness of the vision. Likewise, larger crystals with adequate treatment, such as pressurized with nitrogen, not only increase definition and luminosity, but also prevent moisture from condensing inside the scope. Fields of view and magnifications. Depending on what will be done, a greater or lesser distance from the targets will be necessary. In cases where the size of the target and the length warrant it, it is essential to have magnifications. The problem is that the more zoom a telescopic sight has, the smaller the field of view will be, so it is vital to consider this factor. Weight. Some scopes are usually heavier than others, so it is essential to consider the type of activity to be carried out, since some activities such as hunting require a light scope to be able to take quick freehand shots. How to choose a rifle scope reticle. One of the things that you should take into account when buying a telescopic sight is to learn how to choose a rifle scope reticle, since there are different options depending on the function it is going to perform. Usually, the models are divided into hunting, competition, and military or tactical type. Hunting. This is the most common type of reticle, and they are usually much wider than other types, so they help fix the target much faster and, in this way, to be able to shoot it by surprise. This type of reticle is especially useful for targets that are in motion. Competition. They usually have target dot CPC, or crosshair type reticles. They typically require the use of variable magnifications with different correction devices for both height and drift. Military or tactical use. Elite shooters, snipers, and others usually use them. These reticles are generally of the mil-dot type of just 1,000th or others, always with specifications to make compensated and quick shots without the need for correction devices. What other accessories do I need besides the telescopic sight? Once you learn how to choose a long-range rifle scope, the time comes where you must learn how to choose the accessories that will help you attach this accessory to your rifle, the rifle scope ring, and the rifle scope mount. How to choose rifle scope rings. Base measurements. To choose the appropriate rings, the mounting base's measurement must be taken into account. If this base is integrated into the rifle previously or as a rail base type, only its width should be measured, and it will be possible to know if 11 rings are needed or 20 mm. Diameter. Now, there are usually two standard measures regarding the diameter of the rings, 1, or 30 mm. Choosing one or the other depends on the diameter of the telescopic sight you have. However, other much larger measures are used in particular scopes, although they are not usually the usual ones. How to choose rifle scope ring height. It is essential to know how to choose the height of the rifle scope ring. This height is usually divided into high 18 to 21 mm, medium 14 mm, and low 6 mm. There are factors to take into account before choosing a particular height. If it is the first time that long-range rifle scope is used, it is best to use high rings. This will allow you to aim more comfortably without problems with the rifle's design and mechanism. Likewise, the lens's width is also decisive when choosing the height of the rings, since if the lens is very wide and the height of the rings is low, the installation will be, at least, problematic. How to pick a rifle scope ring mount. There are various types of rifle scope mounts available, and it is vital to know them in order to understand how to choose a rifle scope mount that is indicated for the activity you want to carry out. On the one hand, there are rifle scope mounts in one piece, and others in multiple parts, usually two components. One-piece rifle scope mounts tend to have a tighter grip, so they are much less likely to lose fixation or dislodge. It is important to note that this type of rifle scope mounts usually have the rings and the base in a single piece, giving more excellent support but sacrificing versatility and adaptation. While multi-piece rifle scope mounts allow for greater versatility, more flexible installation, and are much better suited to most rifles' particular needs. An easy way to know which type to choose is to consider the kind of accessories that you want to attach to the rifle. Additional rifle scope ring tip. Once you have learned how to choose an extended range rifle scope and already have all your complete equipment, you must know how to zero a rifle scope. This calibration will allow not only to practice shooting but to improve skill precision when using the rifle. The idea regarding zeroing the rifle is that you can accurately shoot to a specified distance. To do this process, you must have at least 2 paper targets with a 1-inch grid. This allows you to perform the calculations for calibration and a firing range, in addition to your weapon and its implements or accessories such as the long-range rifle scope. How to zero a rifle scope. First and foremost, you must shoot the target from a stable platform to anchor your rifle at 2 points on the base. Initially, it is recommended to shoot from 25 yards away a total of 3 individual shots, carefully aiming at the target's center. The target must then be checked to know the positions where the shots reached and calculate an average of the 3 shots. Subsequently, taking these calculations into account, adjustments must be made to the sight, both vertically and for wind compensation. This procedure must be repeated until you can hit 3 shots in the center of the target paper until you hit the center. When successful, the firing range should be changed to 100 yards or more, and the above procedure should be carefully repeated. It is important to remember that this is not a time competition, it is about reaching perfection, so it is essential to do it carefully. This action will not only serve to adjust the scope of the rifle correctly but also develop shooting skills. Always remember, practice makes mastery. Thank you for watching. Make sure to visit our website, tacticalears.net, for more content like this, including reviews and information for shooters.